You've done art residencies in Spain, Italy, Ireland, France, and England. Which one was your favorite?
I enjoyed all of them. Everyone was different, and I learned. When I came home with different ideas, different things, and different ways of doing art.
How did you get into art residencies and explain kind of what they are to listener?
I took well, I actually won a grant to go to a capital creative capital workshop. They're out of New York City on how to be a successful artist. And there they started talking about artists and residencies. I started talking to them, and they seemed like really a great way to travel and meet new people and see new things. So I came home and applied, and to my surprise, I got it first one I applied to. So I continued on and continued going to artists and residencies.
That's awesome. So, was there a residency in New York, or you just learned about it there?
No, actually the creative capital in New York came to Florida through the Florida Arts Council and did a seminar in Orlando.
Oh,
And
cool.
it's a 3-day seminar on everything about being an artist. And after you take it, you come home and you're on top of the world. You can do anything.
Yeah, yeah, you're motivated.
Yeah, and I've done it 2 times. They had an alumni one
Conference.
yeah, conference too that we went to, and sort of a brush up to see how we were doing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Creative Capital is endowed by the Andy Warhol Foundation. It's a great
Cool.
asset to
Incredibly cool.
artists.
Your first residency was in Madrid, in Spain. That was in 2015. Tell me about that experience.
That's the first time I ever have been out of the country. So I packed 3 bags, 1 bag full of art, and arrived in Spain. And the studio was like 300 years old. And I didn't realize Spain was going to be so cold. The studio was heated by propane, which was unusual. I've never seen it. But in the old buildings in Madrid,
Yeah.
they do heat by. It was a great experience. I was in the old part, the old town. So I walked out my door, and Madrid really isn't a tourist town, so everyone speaks Spanish. I then took classes, and I can't think of the name of the school, but I went there and took perspective classes and things. They spoke Spanish too, but they were very nice.
Yeah.
And then fortunately, I met a nice girl who was getting her master's degree. I said, "Let's if you want to be my tour guide, we'll become friends." So we immediately became friends, and she could speak English really well, and she wanted to brush up on her English.
Cool.
So,
You got to trade.
yeah, so we spent the time, traveling all around Madrid and somewhat Spain.
That's awesome. I didn't know that was your first time leaving the country.
Yes, that was the first time leaving the country.
Gotcha. That was 10 years ago.
Mhm.
That's wild. So, how long did you live in Madrid?
For 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
4 weeks, which 4 weeks gives you enough time to really, understand the place, get to know people really,
Yeah.
and every trip I've, in residency I've done, I always come back with lots of new friends,
That's
which is
awesome.
exciting.
Yeah.
That's the nice thing about traveling.
I think you stayed in a loft, right?
Yeah, it was, I guess you'd consider a loft. Yes. It was on the 3rd floor of this old building in a square, right where the major museums are and stuff. Had a beautiful balcony, very old, and then it had a bedroom which was heated by electric. So the bedroom was a good place to be.
Well, that's a plus.
Yeah, and it was pretty cold, but it was very, very nice.
That's cool. I think, did you have a private studio?
Yeah, it was a private studio. And in the studio was a large kitchen. It was a really unusual, beautiful space.
Was that connected to where you stayed? That was a
Yeah,
loft?
yeah. So I lived in the loft in the studio
Cool.
and everything. It was 3 or 4 flights of stairs up. Had to get used to it. It's not anything like we have here. 2
Yeah.
old doors you open. It's like in the movies.
Mhm.
And then bingo, you're in this beautiful old loft.
That's awesome. How many people were at the residency with you?
That one, I was just me, and then it was sponsored by Greece Arts, I think.
Mhm.
So, there were other people there, but I was the only one in the, apartment and stuff.
Cool. You had some privacy.
Yeah, I have privacy and stuff.
Did you kind of explain Madrid? Explore Madrid at all?
Yes, I explored Madrid a lot.
Yeah.
Um, there was a museum there called the Sofia Museum, which I had never heard of, and that's where the famous Picasso painting is. And that was only like, it was practically across the street.
Wow.
There was another museum there. I can't think of the name of it, but they had Dufay's, which one of my favorite artists.
Hmm.
And then and there was a lot of famous artists were from Madrid and their homes were opened up. So that was exciting too.
Wow.
Yeah. And if anybody ever has a chance to go to Madrid, go.
Highly recommend.
There was a park across the street, a couple of blocks, but it was called the Roteo Park, which had a beautiful glass house, and they had an exhibit of an old trailer inside, and an artist was living in the trailer in this glass house.
They really were living in it.
Yeah, they were living in it. It was
Wow.
it was an installation.
That's cool. Was that like a residency?
No, I don't. I think that was just some goofy. I
Wow.
didn't realize she was alive. There was like it had puppets on the outside.
Yeah.
And then I looked in the window and this body moved and she looked at me like, oh.
Yeah. It's actually
Yeah.
lived there. That's
And
neat.
Rotero Park was this huge park. It was like going back to 1950.
Yeah.
Just they had tents with puppets and everything.
Hmm.
Then there was the Ritz-Carlton that I would go over there and have coffee, and I met everybody there. It was great. And so I came home with lots of sketches and paintings. And
That's awesome.
it was a super residency.
Yeah, I was curious, do you come home with the art, or is there like a deal where you provide the art that you create?
It seems to be how structured it is. Normally you leave a piece of art there. Actually I did leave a piece of art, come to think of it.
Yeah.
But and mostly you should probably leave a piece of art, especially if they ask you to.
Yeah. That's awesome. It's kind of
Yeah.
like a commission.
Yeah, and also your art is what I do. I go sketch, and I leave my little sketches in all these restaurants and things. Everyone's thrilled. So
Oh, that's cool.
I figure it's part of me still in Spain.
That's awesome. You've always done that?
Yeah, I have done that.
What inspired you to do that?
I'm sketching. But if I go to a bar or something, I'm by myself. So and I don't know the language, so I start sketching, and that usually brings attention.
Yeah.
And you start talking to people, and usually there's one person who'll speak English, and then
Yeah.
bingo.
Sparks
Yeah,
conversation.
you're talking to the whole bar, and they say you're Americano, and you start laughing.
Yeah.
And
That's really neat. Have you always done that?
No. I started sketching about 10 years ago.
Right around that time in Spain.
Yeah, right around that time in Spain.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit longer, but and now I sketch all the time. I carry a sketchbook every place I go.
Awesome.
Instead of looking at my phone, I sketch.
Yeah.
And then I get ideas for paintings. You see people, and if you look at my figures and my paintings, it's from going out to coffee shops and things and drawing and sketching, and the whole world's filled with really cool, creative,
Yeah.
interesting,
Inspiration.
yeah.
It's awesome.
people.
Very cool. Walk me through kind of a day in residence. Do you start with art or do you start exploring?
It really depends on what residencies you're in. In Madrid, I started, immediately exploring and actually exploring the studio too, because they had paint left over from old paint left over. So I used that to do a couple of paintings, which was really cool. And then I started exploring Madrid, and the people there, they took me around and showed me, places too. There was a bar that all the people that support Franco go to. And they said, you don't want to go in there. Well, we went in anyhow. It was sort of funny.
Yeah.
And I forget what they drink, but they drink a certain drink, and they're still for Franco.
Wow. Very interesting. How did the city inspire you during that trip? The city of Madrid or the culture?
The buildings, the statues, people dress very, very well. They have a subway, the art supply stores. There was an art supply store right beside me too, which I'd never seen before. They had like walnut cabinets, and they'd open up and it had a basement full of art frames. So I bought my paints over there, and me speaking English and them speaking Spanish, but we became friends, and it was amazing. And also in Spain, they sold pigments too. So you go buy that you can make your own paints and
Oh, cool.
things. Yeah.
Would that be water based?
No, you'd mix you mix like lacquer or I'm not sure what
Yeah,
you
different chemicals.
yeah, I know gilding you mix lacquer
Hmm,
and then it turns into a paint.
that's cool.
Yeah, so you can make your own paint. I think there's probably different recipes for pigments.
Yeah, that's really neat. So you had a lot of freedom
Yeah,
on the
most
residency.
residencies you do have a lot of freedom.
Yeah,
Each one's different. The Tyrone Guthrie residency, the only requirement was you had to eat dinner at 5 o'clock or something like that. They'd ring a big bell, and we'd go into the dining room and eat.
that's awesome. How's the food in Madrid?
The food was delicious. Everyone wants to have a restaurant and be a cook in Madrid.
Yeah, the big cuisine culture.
Mhm.
It's awesome.
Fish, big, huge, big on fish.
Are you a fan of fish?
I'm sort of a fan of fish,
Yeah.
but in Madrid, I ordered fish one day and she brings it out, and this is this huge fish, and the whole fish is on the table, and I'm not used to that.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome.
So, but we laughed. She sliced up the fish, and there it was.
Yeah, that's awesome. So your second residency was in Venice the
Mhm.
following year in 2016. Tell me where you were hosted and tell me about that experience.
That was Schoolio, and I probably have pronounced it all wrong. International,
Hmm.
and they specialized more in having residencies for printmakers. And it was a very, very old studio buildings, sort of like a small campus. And but they liked my paintings and they liked me, so they gave me a studio. I had a big, huge window that opened up over the canal, which was amazing. I just stood there and thought, I can't believe I'm here. And boats would go underneath the building. So there, a lot of people, there were 3 people from the United States. So I had, and most people were younger, a lot younger than I was. So we all go out in the evenings and things, which was a lot of fun. The housing was in an apartment building that the school owned. It was really more dorm-like in a way. I had my own room and things, but wasn't up to what I like.
Sure.
But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, more communal. You shared
Yeah,
stuff.
more communal. And there was one crazy lady there. I was supposed to have my own bathroom, and this crazy lady was throwing everyone out of the bathroom. So I told everyone they could use my bathroom. So
Yeah, but it's a cool experience.
yeah, it was a
So
very, very cool experience. And Venice is a just a beautiful place.
it probably felt like a dream.
It was a dream. It rained a lot. And when the sun shines, Venice is golden. When it rains, Venice could be very depressing.
Wow.
So it's and I met a friend who was the head of the museum's security. So his name was Francesco. So he opened up the museums in the morning for me to go through by myself.
Just for you.
Yeah, and then I met everybody in the museums and things, which was really fascinating.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it was incredible.
It's really neat.
And it wasn't even through the residency. It was through
Yeah,
just be going out and exploring.
that's how you met him.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
So, and he lived in Venice, so I met a lot of people in Venice. I had a lot of friends in Venice.
Very cool. How did that compare to Spain? Because you had Spain beforehand the year before.
Completely different. I guess my friend in Spain was Chinese.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was from China. She was from Shanghai.
Wow.
I think Shanghai, not Shanghai. Oh well, some town,
Yeah.
big city. And so it was just pretty much me and her and the school, and there didn't meet too many people in Spain.
Yeah.
But in Venice, I had a whole group of friends, and through Francesco, I'd be walking the streets, and everyone would say, Richard.
And they knew you just like that?
Yeah, my sister and brother-in-law and their 2 friends came over
Oh, that's cool.
to visit, and we were on the famous bridge, which I don't know the name, and a whole marathon was running across, and Francesco was ahead of it, and they all said, Richard. And my sister fell over and says, you know everyone here. I said, I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
how that happened.
That's awesome.
So
Uh,
that was Venice.
How did Venice influence your art?
Venice influenced my art. Well, actually, through printmaking,
Mhm.
I came back and we have a print press at the Morean, which was downstairs. And I said, we got to get, and it's an old press. I said, we have to bring that press upstairs and start teaching printmaking. And now we're going to, I think, try to expand our printing classes.
That's awesome.
So, and then buildings, architecture, in the square, the cafes, they had music. So I did paintings of people playing music, the orchestras and things, boats.
And then you took that art home with you? Most
Yeah,
of it?
yeah. I took that art home. We had an exhibit there. I left one painting. I forget what the painting looks like, but
Sure.
yeah, it was a cool place.
Very, very neat. Did you explore beyond Venice or you just kind of stayed there?
I pretty much, well, let's see. No, I did explore. I went to Barcelona.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that's in Spain.
Sure. That was on the
I got my countries
Madrid.
mixed up.
No worries. That was on the Madrid trip.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
in Madrid. But
I may have missaid. In Venice, did you explore outside Venice?
yeah, I went to Italy. In Italy, I went to Rome.
Yeah. Oh, it's cool. Very
Yeah,
neat.
I went to Rome, which I really didn't think much of. I got scammed in Rome, so I left Rome and went to Florence. And Florence was beautiful. I really loved Florence.
Yeah, I would love to go.
Yeah,
So
Florence is a major city.
I did go to Rome last year, and I was not robbed or anything or scammed, but I kind of feel the same. I would definitely go at least once to see it, um, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I hoped for.
Yeah, I thought I'd really enjoy it.
Yeah,
I have met someone from Rome now, so I think if I go back and call him up,
with a local.
yeah, it'd be much, much better. I think you need to know the local people to really understand.
Yeah, change the experience.
Mhm.
Definitely. How long were you in the Venice residency?
I think it was 4 weeks.
4 weeks. That's pretty
Mhm.
consistent.
Yeah, 4 weeks is consistent.
Awesome. Very cool. Um, Tell me more about the printmaking you learned at the Scuola Internazionale. Try to practice that one for you.
The printmaking I learned that making etchings were very hard because you have to scrub the plates. And I really mean scrub. It's scrub, scrub, scrub. So I threw out etchings, but what I like is artists there took like ropes, not ropes, but textured things and put them on paper and then ran them through the press and did contemporary paintings. That's basically
Huh.
what I learned.
And it would still be a press?
Yeah, it'd be pressed, the inks would press onto the paper
Okay.
and make these really cool things. It's sort of like even going out and taking clippings of flowers and things.
Yeah,
And then,
okay.
yeah, and then putting them on paper and inking it.
Yeah, I've seen that with like leaves and stuff
Yeah,
too.
and running it through the press.
Hmm. Very neat. Would you do another residency in Italy?
I would do one in Florence.
In Florence?
Mhm.
Yeah. A lot better time there.
No, I think Florence. There's lots to see and do.
Better inspiration then.
Inspiration, but I would definitely I always talked about going back to Venice. So
Yeah.
I mean, I've really enjoyed Venice. It was a lot of fun and it's really interesting.
Good. Your third residency, I read up on your bio. It was in New Bliss, Ireland, and from everything I read, you sounded the most enthusiastic about your Irish residency.
Well, it was so unusual that I've never been to a place like that. And and that's the one I thought I'd get bored because it was way out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So I arrived in Ireland and I stayed in Dublin for 3 or 4 nights exploring the city, and then the only way to get to New Bliss was by bus. I haven't been on a bus forever.
Sure.
So I got to the bus station and the bus pulls up, and then I lose my bus ticket, but they let me on the bus anyhow. And then I have all this luggage because you have to carry all your art supplies. And so we get to the New Bliss, and then I get a cab driver from New Bliss. I think they only have like one cab driver, and he has no idea where the residency is. So he goes into the butcher shop, and asked the butcher. And the butcher said he was taking food over there. So we followed the butcher to the residency, and we arrived at this place, big gates, and pulled in. It was just beautiful. It was the old Tyrone Guthrie's home,
Mhm.
and that was so it was a big old
Estate.
mansion, yeah, estate. I think it was like on 1,000 acres with a pond and a lakes and hiking that you could go up. So it was beautiful. And we had the cooks there that made the meals and writers, musicians, artists. So a whole mix of people, which was exciting too.
Creatives of all type.
Yeah, of all types.
Awesome.
And it's endowed by Ireland, North Ireland and South Ireland, which
Yeah.
was amazing.
Very, very neat.
So it was highly secured. They wouldn't let anyone in, which was interesting. It was a neat place.
Yeah. How many people were on that residency?
I think about 10,
Yeah.
and we all became very good friends. Gert, who lives in London, writes comedy and has been published quite a bit. And then, I can't think of his name, but he's in the Ulster Orchestra, just a main name in
Hmm.
Ireland.
Music.
Yeah, the music, and then the dancers, I can't remember, but she was there. Just everybody who's was there.
Yeah.
And it was hard. It's strange to see them just in a regular capacity.
Was there another painter there?
Yes, there was another painter. He was from
Yeah.
Germany.
Cool. Were you the only American
I was the only American
on that trip?
Let's see. Yes, I was the only American there.
Very neat.
Yeah, I was the American, and then from German, we had 2 Germans, one English, and actually, Sue, she was American, but she also lived in Spain.
Very interesting. So I did research. I learned that Tyrone Guthrie, he owned the estate.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing research. I think it was 500 acres.
Is it 500
Yep.
acres?
Which, I couldn't tell the difference. When I
Looked
was
like
there.
1,000 to
Yeah,
me.
it might as well be 1,000. Very, very big place. And he basically had it in his will that he donated it to Ireland, all of Ireland, and it was really for the arts. So he
Mhm.
kind of had that in his will, and they've really held to that.
Yeah,
Really neat.
and the rooms had a big fireplace and books and library, and the place had a huge library. And the rooms overlooked gardens. They had gardens. It was just a beautiful experience.
Did you have your own private studio?
Yeah, and then I had my studio was in one of the outbuildings.
Mhm.
So in my studio, I had a little fireplace in it, which was really cool. So I could, light a fire and stuff
Yeah, and that was just for you?
just for me.
Wow.
So we all had our own studios. The music studio was in the house, and the writers would stay in the house. They had desks and big, huge rooms. And then they had built other studios for artists too throughout the whole property. And since then, have expanded, I guess, the music
Side of it.
side of it.
So you mentioned it earlier. There was one rule, and you've already said what it was. Describe why they had that rule.
I think it was because everyone would eat together and would get to talk and know each other.
Yeah.
And then we'd drink wine late into the night. So we really all got to know each other.
Yeah. How's the food?
The food was delicious. The cooks were super, because I was afraid of what the food would be like. I don't particularly like lamb. I thought we'd have lamb, but the food, every meal was better and better and better.
Spectacular. Yeah. So it's a common myth that Ireland didn't have good food, and that's
Mhm.
completely wrong. I went in 2022, I think. I think it was 2022, and we stayed in Dublin, and we did the southeast. We went to Wexford and Wicklow. I think it was Wicklow and then Wexford, and the food was incredible. We just absolutely loved it. So that stereotype or that myth is completely false.
No, I think any place you go, if you get into the families,
Yeah.
the food's really good.
It's
People
authentic.
love food and they love eating.
Yeah. So you said you always brought your art supplies. Does anyone ship their stuff? I can imagine instruments would be difficult. right?
Instruments are very difficult. I don't know how you'd ship it in, and it's very expensive. Now, at Guthrie, I ran out of art supplies, but the residency called and ordered more. And it came within a couple of days, so it wasn't anything.
Yeah, well, that's good. So do they organize you getting to that country or getting there? Or they just say these dates are when you're here?
They send you the dates. You sort of organize getting there, if you need help, you call.
Yeah.
They seem to think I'm pretty independent in most of the residencies,
Hmm.
so they just let me do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Versus, it's
Yeah. Less organized,
yeah,
right?
less
Less formal.
organized.
Gotcha. Because I wouldn't. Once my taxi driver didn't know how to get there. I mean, thankfully now with phones and stuff, it's a little bit easier. But I mean, I'd be pretty lost too.
Well, there I looked up the map,
Yeah.
so I sort of knew where it was, and then I left a day early from Dublin and stayed in a really cool place close to it.
Hmm.
So I figured, okay, um,
Yeah.
and I
Shorten the
looked at
trip.
different ways to get there, but the cab after the bus ride, the cab was the easiest, and I think the bus, could only get you so far,
Yeah. Probably whatever routes.
and probably if you'd asked, it might have picked you up.
Gotcha. And then the other ones were 4 weeks. But this is 4 weeks too.
Yeah, I think that was 4 weeks too.
Nice. Very, very neat. Um, what would you say your favorite part of the Ireland residency?
Dinners,
Dinners.
eating and drinking and staying up night. And then I suggested everybody was pretty private with their studios. So I suggested after dinner, we'd all give each other a studio tour. So each day we went to someone else's studio, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we all enjoyed it.
Very cool. So 4 weeks, you're there a long time.
You're there for a long
about a
time.
month.
And we did go into town. From a friend from Germany, we went to town. But the town looked at you sort of strange since they said you're not from here.
Yeah, they could tell. So you said this one there was no guests, no visitors.
No visitors,
Gotcha. Just to keep it just for the artists.
just to keep the artists. And I guess because of the Northern and in Southern Ireland, they keep it pretty well,
yeah, secure.
secured, locked down.
So I was thinking, describe the art you made in Ireland because it's a very different feel. So this was very country and rural compared to the other cities.
Green. Ireland's very green.
Yeah.
And so I painted a lot of grass and fields, and then they had a lake there that everybody swam in with a dock and things. So I painted that.
Yeah,
and
more
then,
scenery.
Yeah, and then two friends, Sue and Gert, rented a kayak or a boat, so they went kayaking on the lake. So I painted them on the kayaks.
Very neat. Did you go in the lake?
No. One day everybody says, "Do you want to go swimming?" It was all women.
Yeah.
And I said, okay. And then evidently they swim. The cook said they swim without the clothes on. They swim naked. I said, I don't think so.
Yeah, you didn't
I
realize.
said, have fun.
Yeah. Very well.
So
walk me through a little bit of a day at Tyrone Guthrie.
well, I'd get up in the morning and go down, and the cooks would serve us breakfast, but the first thing they would have are scones. And they always liked me, so they gave me my scones first. So everybody would get up and I'd be having my scones, and they all said, "Why does he get scones and we don't?"
Yeah.
And they all just laughed.
You got pickings. Yeah.
Mhm. And then they'd start fixing breakfast. And I don't really cook. And we'd cook our own breakfasts too. So everyone started cooking my breakfast. And then we'd sit down and have coffee in this big window around this table and talk and talk and talk and talk. And eventually, and then we decided we'll all go to our studios. So we go to the studio and start painting. Then lunchtime, we'd come back for lunch and have a little bit of lunch if we wanted to, or else if we wanted to go into New Bliss or something, we could do that. And then 5 o'clock rolls around. I usually went home and took a nap at 4. 5 rolls around and the bell rang, and then it was dinner time.
Very
And
neat.
so we'd sit down and have dinner and discuss our days and our lives and things. And
It sounded very like home centered.
it was like visiting grandma in
Yeah.
a way. With your family, everybody became family.
Very cool. I don't know if do you think that's like an Irish thing?
It could be.
Yeah, because we stayed in one hotel when we went to Ireland, my wife and I. And I like Airbnbs because you kind of feel the culture
Yeah.
a lot more. And we stayed, it was like a bed and breakfast, but it felt like I was at my grandmother's house. We just had a room upstairs.
I know.
And she politely asked, she said, "Would you like me to wake you up? Would you like me to make you guys breakfast?" And we're trying not to be intrusive or anything. We're like, "Oh, like we'll get up around this time." And like we come downstairs and she has breakfast made and she's got all these different, scones and pastries and stuff. And it just felt like you're at your grandmother's house.
Well, I said everybody in Ireland's so friendly.
Yeah.
And the cook said, well, it's because everyone's very nosy and they want to know everything about you.
Well,
But it
I
was
guess
just true.
it pays off, right?
Yeah. Hey, you
Very,
can be
very cool.
nosy. I don't care.
Yeah. So I guess a lot of your time, if it wasn't in the home, it was in the studio.
Yeah, in my studio.
Very, very neat. Very cool. Would you go back to Tyrone Guthrie?
Yes, I would.
Yeah. I was doing research. I know they have like an alumni program. A lot of people go back. Do you have like a specific memory you enjoyed at Tyrone Guthrie, like a story or anything?
I think just well, the one story was because of the going to each one's buddy's studio. So I can't think of the guy's name. He's famous. We went to we went to the music room, and he specializes in playing air instruments.
Mhm.
And so he started playing the flute and all these, unbelievable. I mean, it was just we were in this big, huge room, and he's playing. It was like having your own private concert. It was just it was something else that you don't, well, I don't see it every day, hardly ever.
Yeah, especially someone of that talent,
Mhm.
that level. Yeah, it's a very cool experience. Very cool. So the year after Ireland, you landed a residency in Arles, France.
Hmm.
And tell me how you kind of got that experience and then where you stayed.
Well, I saw the residency and I wanted to go to France, so I applied and
Mhm.
got it.
Wow. You have to apply for each one?
Yeah, every residence you have to apply to get in.
Gotcha.
So I was accepted, and the date came up, and away I went.
Very neat.
Not knowing what Arles, I knew the only thing I knew was Van Gogh was from there.
He was. Yep.
Mhm.
I did a lot of research on him. He did over 200 paintings just there.
And Arles only has one that covered the chicken coop. It shows you how artists aren't. People don't realize how good an artist is till they drop dead and become famous someplace else.
They only have one of Van Gogh's
Yeah,
paintings?
in their Van Gogh museum, they have one painting.
Wow. Why do you think that is?
Because Van Gogh, they did not appreciate his work
Yeah, until after he passed
till
away.
after he passed away.
Yeah. He happened to do his ear.
I think they saw Van Gogh was a little nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. He took off his ear there. That
Yeah.
was a city he did.
Yeah,
it
and
in.
I think he drank a lot and made a lot of noise and commotion.
Gotcha. Wow.
But it's a city I think you can drink and make commotion.
Yeah.
It's a very small town. Everybody knows everybody.
Where did you stay?
And I stayed in this great big huge, it was like it's a mansion that a friend, not a friend, she did the residency. Her name was Julia. And ours is becoming a art center of France.
Mhm.
So, and she only has one or two people at a time, and I had an apartment on the third floor, and it was, a beautiful home. It's typical France, ornate, the ballroom and all these. And the kitchen was unbelievable, went on and on and on with French doors going out onto a terrace and all that stuff. So I stayed there.
Was that one 4 weeks?
I think that might have been 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
I arrived there by train from Paris and got off the train with all my stuff, and there's these steep stairs. And I thought, uh-oh, how
Yeah.
am I going to get my luggage up these stairs?
Yeah.
And then there's these guys there, and I thought, I'm going to be robbed. But one guy came down and helped me carry this stuff up. We got this stuff up.
Awesome.
And then I tried to call a taxi, and there I think they only had one taxi at the city at the time.
Yeah.
And he said he was at a soccer game, so there was no taxi today. And because everybody in ours seems to walk every place. So I met some other people that the train came in, and their hotel was going to pick them up. So their van came, and I begged, and they begged, and they let me get in the van. They
They
dropped
helped
me
you.
off at the residence.
Good.
So
Very neat. You kind of have that way about you, kind of falling into cool opportunities.
I think I have a guardian angel or something.
Yeah, you have the aura.
Yeah, I can fall into something, but I usually get out.
Yeah.
It's sort of funny after the end.
And then were you the only person on this one or there was one more?
I was the only person on there. There was
Gotcha.
a person coming in from, I think, Taiwan that she wanted me to stay and meet him, but
Yeah.
I came home.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah.
Would you ever do a residency longer than 3 or 4 weeks? Or you think that's the sweet spot?
I think that's the sweet spot. After that, I think you think you're a resident and you won't come home.
Yeah.
I mean, I would do maybe one for 3 months. For some
Mhm.
are up to 9 months.
Yeah, I was doing research on them.
Yeah, you come
So,
home with the baby.
yeah. Something I didn't think about when I was reading about this, people have to plan that if you're painting late into the residency, your paint may not dry
Hmm.
for you to leave. So I didn't think about that because if you're there for only, like, say it was 2 weeks, you kind of want to paint the first week because the second week it might not dry in time.
Yeah, mine not dry, but that's why I use acrylics. It's fast drying.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I can do it. Although I did use some oil paints,
Gotcha.
and you just sort of pack them. You can put little foam things in between.
Yeah, to keep them from
Mhm.
applying to other pieces. And
Mhm.
then you have to bring all the canvases with you.
No, you can buy canvases there. France,
France a little bit easier to do
yeah,
that.
France was easier. Although you'd think ours would have a huge art supply store like Spain,
Yeah.
but they just had this one little store which was more like a card store. But I did buy a couple of canvases and things there.
Neat. Very, very neat. Describe the food there.
The food was delicious. Julia was a excellent cook, and the meals weren't provided there. But every night she says, "I don't have very much in the kitchen, but I'll make dinner." So she'd go into the kitchen and bring out these beautiful meals.
Wow. That was just you and her?
Well, I had met some friends.
Of course.
Again.
Right? Yeah.
I went to one store. His name was Venice,
Very neat.
and so I said, would you want to be my guide? He says, oh, sure, sure. So he had a Volkswagen, his girlfriend, they'd pick me up and we'd go all around probably 100-mile radius of
Really?
Arles.
Yeah. Because that's in the south of France.
Yeah, that's in the south of France. Yeah,
Yeah.
along the Mediterranean. And so he'd showed me places I would never have seen without him. Like the Romans built this aqueduct,
Mhm.
but we had to climb through bushes and things. Most people I meet are very aggressive. They go, get on it and climb. So I don't know, but I
Yeah.
did.
Do you think it's your curiosity that lands you in these places?
I think it is curiosity. And I
Yeah.
think being open
Yep.
and being nice.
Yeah. Being genuine.
Yeah, just, you know, everyone's the same no matter what. If we went to Sudan, I think we'd meet nice people. People, if you're nice to them, they're going to be nice to you.
Yeah. It's a
And
reflection.
and appreciate where they live and their homes and things.
Being respectful.
Hmm.
So that city really influenced Van Gogh.
It did influence Van Gogh.
I didn't realize there's only one of his paintings in the city. I was going to ask you if his paintings influenced your art.
Yeah, his paintings did influence my art. You got to see where he painted since I was
Mhm.
pretty familiar with Van Gogh.
Yeah.
The best-selling print in the world is a Van Gogh print, the Starry Night print.
Makes sense.
So it's and he's probably the best known artist.
He's up there.
Mhm.
Yeah. Him, Salvador Dali,
And
Picasso,
Picasso
Yeah.
and
Monet is a big one too.
Monet and David Hockney's becoming pretty popular too.
Yeah.
So
Very, very cool. Did you paint similar places or the same places that he painted in your own way? Not that you copied, but like, did you find that inspiration that he found?
yeah, I found there was a restaurant he always went to
Mhm.
with these little red awnings. That I painted because it was right down the street.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I painted.
Very cool.
Then I met some people on the airplane, and so they stopped by, and they had a car, so we went out and found the bridge and stuff, which was fun. They were from the United States, so we're still friends. They come here once in a while and visit. So it was a very nice residency trip. Julia was wonderful. She's every year Arles has a photography, and this is was a photography residency. And so they have a huge photography show. It's an international. And all the churches, these old churches are no longer churches, are now museums, and they hang photos. So
That'd be cool. That's annual.
yeah, that's annual.
That'd be cool to see.
And then lady, her last name's Roach. She was from the Roach Medical. She's a billionaire. And so she's changing Arles into more of a arts community.
Cool. Very, very cool. She's a big patron.
Yeah, she's a big patron. It's a neat place.
I think, was there an art center there?
Yeah, she built this huge, beautiful art center in an old train yard where they used to fix trains. And then they took the train warehouses and changed them into galleries.
And they still look like train stations, or like a train yard, I guess.
I guess, you could see it.
Yeah.
And then they had the restaurant. They grew their own food. It's very, very interesting.
Wow.
Everything there is very, very old.
Yeah, very real.
Very real. Julie had a lot of friends, so I met her friends. She wanted me. I went to a city meeting. The ours was made up of communists, liberals, and then conservatives. There's like, and then it's all these different people. And she says the meetings are fun because everybody starts yelling and screaming, which was interesting.
It's a melting pot.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Would you say it's like a calm city, or does it feel more chaotic?
No, I think it's a very calm city.
Yeah. Just a lot of different characters.
A lot of different characters, and you walk every place.
Gotcha. It's a lot of Europe.
Yeah, they have 2 Colosseums that the Romans built. And at night, it's beautiful. We went out for pizza one night, just sitting there, and they have these old cars. It's unbelievable. So,
what would you say your favorite part of the south of France is?
it was actually it was Cannes.
Okay. That's another city?
Yeah, that's another city along the water. That's where the film festival is. I didn't know what to expect there, but you can catch the train. France has excellent train systems. So from Aros, you can just go take the train all the way to Monte Carlo along the coast. And but that was the shops, the hotels, the beach. It was beautiful.
A lot to explore.
Mm-hmm.
Would you buy stuff and bring them home from each place you go? Like a souvenir maybe, or other people's art?
Well, in France, I bought other people's art. France, I bought too much art.
Is there such a thing?
Yeah.
I don't think there is. I mean, everyone can see we're in your studio. So.
Yeah. So I bought art in France. I like antique prints and things, so I bought a lot of old paintings there. It's about the only place I bought.
Yeah, take home stuff.
I bought some Van Gogh,
replicas.
Some of those, but nothing special.
Neat, very neat. So your final international residency was in London, and you were doing one a year, at least one a year, one international one. I think you said you took a transatlantic cruise.
Yeah, and I painted on that. I asked the ship, "Can I paint on the ship?" He says, "Yeah, we've got a studio." Where the studio turned out to be the dining room, but that was fine. There's this room off the dining room.
Yeah, you had an audience.
Yeah. So there was an audience, and there was another instructor there too. So we became friends. And
how did that whole experience happen? You had the residency, so you booked a way to get there.
Yeah, I wanted to go. It was self-directed, so I wanted to go to London. So I called. So when I talked to the ship, they said, "Yes, you can paint on the ship," and
because those were separate.
Yeah, those were sort of
nothing to do with the residency.
Yeah, nothing to do with the residency. So that's what I did, and and we had so much fun on the ship because of course I knew everyone again.
Yeah,
and
you get a lot of attention too.
Yeah, you get a lot of attention.
Were you basically painting when people were eating in the other room?
No, we painted it. I think at 2:00.
Yeah, okay, a little slower time.
Yeah, a little slower time and things.
Yeah, and then did you end up teaching people?
Yeah, I did teach.
Was that just impromptu?
I wasn't supposed to teach, but there was the other teacher, and she says, "Well," and I always do my things my own way, so everyone started listening to me.
Yeah, very, very neat.
And so the friends I met on the board, they were coming.
Yeah, did you have enough canvas? How does this happen?
Oh, there was just a little watercolor thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very, very neat. So I think it was the Queen Mary, right?
Yeah, it was the Queen Mary.
Very cool. Describe that cruise.
It was the only ship built for the Transatlantic crossing.
Yep.
And it was huge. It was a fancy cruise. You had to dress, which I was scared of because I was in tuxedos. But I had a black suit that I wore.
Cool.
And
was that for certain meals?
Yeah, just for certain meals.
Yeah, I read about that.
But you had to wear a coat after 6:00. Anywhere on the boat, which was interesting. Huh. So it's going across the sea, and I wanted to experience going across the sea in an old way.
Yeah,
which was fun.
Very cool.
And I met a friend. Her name was Sue, and she became like my wife. Everybody thought we were married, so Sue arranged it.
Cool. Very, very neat. Would you say was it kind of calm or
Yeah,
was it rough?
it was calm. It was rainy all the time,
Okay.
but it was very calm.
Yeah. What time of year was it?
I think it was in September.
Okay, so I guess the fall.
Yeah, it was the
Yeah.
fall, and so the water was rough and sort of cold and rainy, but it was sort of nice because you're going across the Atlantic and you're thinking, this is
A real
cool.
adventure. Yeah.
It is an adventure.
What?
And the food, and there was tons of stuff going on the ship.
Mhm. Would you do it again?
Yeah, definitely. I
Yeah.
think if I had my way, that's how I'd go
Yeah.
every year.
There's some musicians that's how they would go back and forth.
Well, the thing is, you can carry everything on board.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, and
I didn't think of that at all.
I don't know. I walked right up to the cab, dropped me off, and they just let me walk right onto the ship. So it was easy. You didn't have to go through security or anything.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I don't quite understand that. I must have went through the wrong door. But
Maybe.
yeah, and then you don't have to sleep on the plane either,
Mhm.
and then fly back because flying back's much easier than over
So I was gonna ask you that. So you just did it one way,
there. Mm-hmm.
and then you flew home.
Then
Did
I
you have
flew
to
home.
fly home with all your stuff, or?
Yeah, I flew home with all my things.
Yeah. Have you ever shipped them separately for a residency?
No, one time I tried to ship, and since everything has to go through customs, it got pretty iffy. There is a way, but I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, it's kind of miserable. Gotcha.
Mhm. So
Okay.
so I carry basically 3 bags, one
Yeah.
on rollers, then another bag, and then a backpack on top of that bag.
Gotcha. I didn't think that it would be a lot easier to bring your stuff on a cruise ship.
Yeah,
I
it
didn't consider
is.
that. You could bring a lot more stuff.
And it takes a week, but that's no
Yeah,
problem.
7 days, right?
Mhm.
Very cool.
You do
And
have to
then
get your stuff on the plane to go to New York, but that's easier because you're
oh,
leaving out of a place where you know.
yeah. So it's always from New York?
Yeah, normally it's from New York.
Gotcha. Because I was reading about that ship, and they'll go from New York to UK, or they'll go to, I think it was Germany, I think.
Germany
Is it
and
Norway, maybe?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think they go all the way to Australia in some cases.
Wow.
Some people on the boat had been, I mean, forever because a couple they were from Australia.
Very, very cool.
And people that do it all the time.
Yeah. What made you think of that to take the transatlantic cruise?
And maybe I was looking at prices and I thought, well, this would be fun.
Yeah. Cool experience.
Yeah.
Very neat. So, where did you stay once you ended up in London?
I actually stayed at Gert's house, who I met in
Okay, from the other residency.
from the other residency.
Cool.
He was a writer.
And then, so they hosted you?
Yeah, she hosted me.
Wow.
And then that was just for a week. And then I actually just got a hotel and painted and stuff and went around.
Oh, very,
So
very cool.
yeah, you can do it's called a self-directed residency where you just
Yeah, do your own thing.
yeah, you can make your own thing too. You can call up well, one friend that I met in Europe, she says you call up the embassy and say, you're arriving and you talk to them and they arrange things for you too.
Hmm. Would they help you get a place to stay?
Yeah, they would help you get a place to stay if
Wow.
you're nice to them. Depends who you talk to.
Yeah, exactly.
They might hang up on you too.
So, this was your first self guided residency.
Yeah. Mhm.
How does that compare to something more structured?
I think I'd like something more structured,
Yeah.
mainly because it seems like I met less people in London. Although, let's see, who did I meet? I made some friends in London, but I can't think of their names.
Yeah. But it's just a different experience because there weren't guaranteed people that you would meet.
Yeah,
It's
they
kinda
weren't
just luck of the
guaranteed.
draw. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, Brennis in Arles
Mhm.
and his girlfriend had moved to London, so they were in London.
So you
So I
lucked
saw
out.
them in London again.
Very neat. Did you explore the greater UK area?
Just London, and then I took a train. It was called the Belmont train, which is part of the Orient Express. I saw you could take a day trip on it,
Mhm.
which is fairly reasonable. So I took a day trip on the train to it's a famous cathedral. It's about an hour away or something.
Okay.
And they serve, breakfast with wine and champagne.
Cool.
And you see the countryside. It was really cool.
Yeah. So once you were staying in a hotel, were you doing all of your art inside the hotel?
Yeah, I do. Although after I stayed in the hotel, I just took my sketchbooks. So I don't really have to do paintings. I can do my sketchbooks and watercolors.
Sure.
So if I went to a famous park or something,
You could
which I did, I could watercolor.
you could work there. That's very neat.
And I could go outside and do buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything. So and I actually at that I wanted to see all the museums in Harrods,
Mhm.
the store, and all that too.
Cool. So you were in Ireland a couple years before.
Mm-hmm.
That was very country, a little more structured at the
Yeah,
Tyrone
very
Guthrie.
structured. Yeah.
Compare that to down south in England when you just did it by yourself in London, in a big city.
Well, England reminded me of Ohio, basically.
Okay, how so?
The buildings, you could see the influence on the states. The buildings were all brick. It looked like Columbus, Ohio, the
Yeah.
trees, everything.
Yeah.
So it was a cool place, but it wasn't as different as in like Madrid. I mean, the buildings are made, in Rome, and so it was just a different experience.
Very cool. And I was thinking of Scotland when I was mentioning Ireland separate
Yeah.
from
Mhm.
London, but you knew what I meant
I knew
with,
what you meant.
with the
And
UK.
it basically all that terrain, those hedges
Yeah.
and the green, and I just remember green. I had to order more green paint.
Did I read somewhere? Have you been to Scotland too?
No, I'd never been to
Haven't been to
Scotland.
Scotland. Gotcha. Very neat. How long was, I guess, the whole trip for London? So it took you a week to get there.
Took a week to get there. I think I was there for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, something like that.
Gotcha. In addition to the cruise.
Yeah. Mhm.
Very cool. Do you remember any specific paintings you made in London?
Yes, it was in a park. Um, there's a mansion there that I went through, and I forget the name of the park. I want to say Fenway, but it wasn't Fenway Park.
Yeah. Very cool.
England has lots of parks,
Yeah.
beautiful parks.
Very neat. So, of all of your residencies, which was your most influential?
Probably, I have to say they were all influential.
Yeah.
I came home,
Different way.
and that's the great thing about doing a residency. You come home and you're inspired. You look at things differently. You make new friends. You experiment. You meet different artists. You see how they create. And it just makes you a better artist and I think a better person.
Motivated,
Hmm.
right? So, I was wondering which was the shortest, which was the longest, but you kind of said most of them were about 3 to
Yeah,
4
most
weeks.
of them are 3 or 4 weeks.
Gotcha.
Normally, 4 weeks is a good time. And 4 weeks, that last week, you're ready to come
Yeah.
home sometimes.
Definitely. Would you?
Actually,
I'm sorry.
Tyrone Guthrie, I was ready to stay, though. I was going to move there.
That felt like home.
But they said I'd be bored after a while. They said people love it, but they move here and then they want to go home.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming with too much time
Mhm.
there. Would you do another international residency?
Oh, yes. Uh-huh.
Would you go to a place again or a new place?
It's a good question. I wouldn't mind going to a place again. I wouldn't mind going to the Tyrone Guthrie again
Mhm.
and having Gert and other friends I met. We'd all meet there again.
That'd be cool. Could you organize that with other residents?
Yeah, I probably could because we talked about it.
That's cool.
I talked, and then separately they've gone. They said it's not the same because they're not the same people. It must be like going back to high school,
Yeah,
but the people you were friends with aren't there. So
like a
it's
reunion.
complete.
Very cool. If you were to go to a residency not in Europe, where do you think it would be?
Well, there was a residency I looked into in Egypt.
Okay, that'd be cool.
Yeah, but I think it's too far away. And I
Gotcha.
talked to people. I don't think
A lot to get there.
yeah, a lot to get there and a lot to do. And I don't think I'd do well in Egypt.
Yeah, very different
Yeah, it's
culture.
very different.
Would you like South America or maybe Asia? Asia's too far.
Brazil, and there's residencies in Mexico. There's
Mm-hmm.
a cool place in Mexico. I thought I might do one in the States and on the state of Washington.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, along the coast.
I was curious, how did you get each residency? Is there a certain place that you look?
Yeah, there's Creative Capital actually is now posting residencies.
Okay.
Along with there's Cafe, which posted Reese Arts, it's RIS Arts, post residencies. So you just start typing them in, and even typing in hotels are having residencies now. It's a big thing to have a resident artist in a hotel. And that's what I have actually been looking into.
Cool.
So you go to the hotel and paint. I mean, right now I have paintings at the I can't pronounce the name over the hotel, a hotel in Tampa.
Cool.
So hotels are a big thing.
So I did a lot of research, and it's funny you mentioned that. You did a residency in Hotel Indigo.
Yeah, I was the resident artist in Hotel
Yep.
Indigo.
That was in St. Pete, which
Mhm.
where we are right now. What made you pick a residency in the same city that you already lived in?
Well, they approached me,
Okay,
so I said yes.
sure. How
Yeah.
long was that one?
It was quite a while. It was just, I was the resident.
Yeah,
It's like here, I'm the resident artist. I've lived here forever.
exactly.
But exposure is the idea. That's how you sell your art. People have to see your art
They have to know about
every
you.
day.
Cool. And then for Hotel Indigo, did you live there or because you
Oh
were so
no,
close?
I just hung the paintings there and the
Commuted.
commuted.
Cool. That's very,
So-
very neat.
And I painted on the front porch.
Did that change your inspiration and motivation within St. Pete?
No, not really.
You still saw the city the same way?
Yeah, I saw the city the same way. St.
Yeah.
Pete's a cool city. I mean, St. Pete has great artists,
Yep.
and it's interesting how it's developing.
What would you say your favorite part of St. Pete is?
Downtown,
Yeah. Do you think the people?
the people, but I think everyone. I lived in Bel Air when
Mhm.
I first moved here, and the people were super nice there and
Yeah.
supportive. And
Very cool. So, how did you move into the Morean Arts Center where we are right now?
well, I was taking class when I moved here. I moved here from Columbus, Ohio, and I was taking. So the first thing I did was look at an art center. So I signed up immediately here to take classes. So I was taking classes from Betsy Lester, art teacher and great artist. And so after a couple years, Desmond came in and said we may be renting some space upstairs. And I asked if there was an apartment because I heard there was.
Mhm.
So he said yes, there was. So me and Elizabeth, who's a friend of mine, we went and looked at it. And I got the rent and I said, I'll take it. And the Maureen was thrilled because I was an artist and I'm living, here.
Yeah.
And
It
so,
was the right fit.
yeah, so I moved in. And
Very, very cool.
14 years later, I'm still here and painting away. And then eventually, where my gallery was my studio, but eventually I took the studio.
Cool. Are you the first artist to live here?
Previously, the apartment was an artist in residency. So I think they had a couple of artists before me,
Gotcha.
just like on a 4-week
Rotation.
rotation. And then they changed it to offices.
Gotcha. Do they no longer do residencies here?
They do residencies at the Clay Center, but
Okay.
they don't have. I think they arrange for living places there.
Yeah. And then is the Clay Center the one across the street?
No, that's the Chihuly Museum.
Okay.
The Morean also owns the Clay Center, which is an old train station.
That's
off
right.
22nd.
Yep. I've been there as well.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
So
Describe what it's like living inside an art center.
living inside the art center is fun, especially for an older person,
How so?
because you're the only one here.
Yeah.
And so I know everyone. I meet artists and things.
Yeah.
Um,
You like the privacy, I guess?
Yeah, there's privacy, but
Mhm.
if you want to go talk to someone, there's always someone around too.
Yeah. Just walk downstairs.
Mhm. And the events, every event they have, I just go downstairs and go through the door and bingo, you're there.
That's very cool.
Yeah, serving food and everything. And it's like it's in your own house.
Yeah. I didn't consider that.
Yeah. So it's like, sort of like your house.
Yeah,
It's
you're
just
the
a big
host.
house. Yeah.
Wow. Very,
Oh.
very cool.
It's fun.
How often would you say you paint? Is it every day?
Yeah, I go through spurts, but basically I've been painting every day. And then a week will go by and I won't paint at all.
Yeah.
And so it's been about 2 weeks, but now I'm painting again
Good.
pretty heavily.
It's just like a healthy dose of taking a
Mhm.
break.
Yeah, it's like going into a tizzy.
Yeah.
I do commissions and then I think enough's enough. And then all of a sudden I start painting.
Sure. Tell me a little bit more about commissions.
Commissions. Lately I've been doing a lot of commissions with people in their favorite places and the people want to be in the paintings.
Okay, cool. And they could be from anywhere.
Yeah, they can be from anywhere. Mostly it's St. Pete.
Yeah.
The last ones I did, they wanted 2 paintings. One they were at Passigril, and the other one they were at the Grand Cesar. And I think there were like 10 people and their family, and they wanted all and some friends. They wanted all these people in the painting.
Do they provide an actual picture?
Yeah, I asked for pictures of the family.
Yep.
So and this one they really provided a lot of stuff. So I had a stack of stuff. And
Cool.
then when I'm doing the painting, I sort of have to get to know the people, so I look at them and stuff. And
Exactly.
then I check and then I check them off to make sure they're in the painting.
Yeah, the right people.
Yeah, and then as I'm painting, I count them to make sure I don't have too many. And then you have to look at them to make sure if they're holding a glass of wine, they don't look drunk or something because they get upset. So and then bingo, the paintings. And then I think this will never end. And then the painting's finished and everybody loves it. So
Wow. Walk me through a little bit more about commissions. When
mhm.
people come to you for a commission, is it always a specific thing that they want, a certain vision? Or do they just say, I would love a piece from you, and it's just whatever is up to your decision?
Well, they see your art and so they like your art.
Yeah.
And then like the beach scenes, all they want is to be in, the beach scenes.
Yeah.
So I paint what I normally paint, and then the people I normally have in them, I start painting them in.
So typically they tell you the vision.
Yeah, yeah, they will tell me the vision, what they want. The Paso Grill one, the last ones, they were really, really specific, which was good because I knew exactly what they wanted. They wanted their daughter to wear this certain hat, and
Yeah. To be a really represent them.
yeah, and their little girl wanted she was going to be on a skateboard. I was painting dogs on skateboards. They wanted their dogs, so I had their dogs in there.
Very
Yeah,
neat.
it was specific.
Cool. Have you ever had a commission where they said it's your artistic vision? They just want to secure a piece?
Yes, there was actually they wanted 12 paintings for their office to go above these bookshelves, and I was scared to do the commission. And then,
You just want to make sure they liked it, right?
yeah, and I wasn't sure about it.
Yeah.
And then finally they said, "We love your work." They said, "You can do whatever you want."
Yeah.
I said, "Okay, I'll do it."
They
And
just want it
so,
to be yours.
mhm.
Very
So
cool.
I did it, and they loved it. So it turned out great.
For you, I guess too much freedom. There's not enough direction to provide.
No, no, I like freedom.
Yeah.
What the trouble is you're painting on, and that's on any painting,
Mhm.
but especially when you're doing a commission, you think, are they going to like this?
Yeah. Yeah. It's really about how it's going to be received.
Yeah, where you're painting on your own, and you can, if you don't like it, you just paint over the person, and
You just
that's
keep
it.
going. That's awesome. How do you decide the size of a new painting?
Well, for some reason, I like to paint 36 by 36
Okay. Squares.
squares, but any size is fine.
Hmm.
People are specific. Like for Christmas, I had a commission, and they wanted a small painting, 16 by 20. I think it was even he gave me the size, and I painted in that size, which is fine.
Yeah. How does the canvas influence the art? So if it's a square, it could be more symmetrical, but if it's a small rectangle or different shape.
Square is a lot easier. When you go vertical, let's say they wanted like a 4 by 20 painting,
Okay.
and they want 20 people in there. They're going to have to be tall and skinny, or
Yeah.
else they're going to have a deep perspective of a lot of people.
Yeah.
So it does influence the art.
You like squares, more like a Polaroid.
Yeah, and I've bold enough. I know, I go. You know what? I don't think I can do that. We need to reevaluate our sizes here.
Sure. So if you feel that way, do you turn down commissions or do you try to offer them something that would better fit what you could do?
No, I've never turned down a commission. So usually we figure it out.
Yeah, you just say, I just feel this would be a better vision for
Yeah,
what we're
yeah.
working
You
for.
just say, well, I can't really do it in that way, but I can do it in this way.
Sure. Very cool. What about if you were to turn the painting, the rectangle, so it's long, like a landscape? Does that make it easier, you think, or still has
Um,
limitations?
the square one's easier for me, but the long ones, the rectangles, 24 by 36 used to be called a sofa size painting.
Okay.
And that I'm pretty good at.
Yeah, because I keep looking around, I guess. I always think about your paintings more vertically.
Yeah, I am vertical. I guess because my people are more vertical.
Sure. Yeah. So some people will just be listening to this, but for the people that are watching, we're literally inside your studio right now.
Hmm.
Describe how this space influences your art.
Well, I can leave all my paints and art out.
Hmm.
And so whenever I do want to paint, it's here. And
Yeah.
I'm very lucky. I can just walk into a room and start painting. I have canvases, I have plenty of paint.
Hmm.
So it helps me a lot.
You've talked about it a little bit. You've noted you primarily use acrylic, right?
Yes.
I think you noted it's because it's water based.
Yes, it's water based. It's easily cleaned up and it dries fast.
Yep, that's what I read. So I think I've read that you've used watercolor,
Yeah, I use watercolor.
different types of oils and resin.
I use everything. I mean, like this is watercolors. You name it, I'll use it. Resin. I painted in resin and markers.
How does the medium change how you paint? So the type of paint, how does that change the art?
Watercolors are more like a wash, so they're not going to be as bright. And then sometimes markers and things. Sometimes I end up the paintings are too tight. The people aren't loose, and everything just looks like just trying to
Cram it in.
cram it in or just draw it. It seems to be hard to do. So sometimes I'll just take a big canvas and it's just like throwing paint and using markers and doing something completely different, abstract that,
Yeah.
doesn't even look like me, but it gives you freedom to do whatever you want.
How often do you experiment?
I actually experiment all the time, especially when I go to museums. See things. I think, boy, that'd be fun to do.
Yeah. So a lot of it's your influence too.
Yeah, a lot of it's your influence, which comes from residencies, museums,
Mhm.
other artists.
Yeah.
And going, St. Pete has on second Saturday great art exhibits and stuff.
Yep.
And so makes a little bit of everything.
Always changing.
It's always changing.
Tell me a little bit more about resin. How does resin work?
Resin is the resin I used was in a can.
Okay.
And I would pour it on a piece of canvas and then add acrylic coloring, which is something that everyone would say be impossible to do. And then you put a hardener in it and it hardens, and then you had this painting.
Hmm.
Um,
Is it more textured, right?
yeah, and it's heavy. It looks like glass in a way.
Yeah.
Very glassy look. But the resin has I don't like using a mask or anything, so or air stimulator.
It has a strong scent.
So I had a strong scent. So I thought my liver would probably be going, so I quit doing resin.
How long does it normally take to finish a painting? I know they definitely range in size, but do you come back to a piece so it could take a long time, or do you normally finish one at a time?
I'd say 3 days takes 3 days. And then if it isn't finished, sometimes, unless it's a commission, you keep painting, it could take a week. But you can put them away and come back to them. And you might come back after a year or so. And all of a sudden you see things you didn't see before. And it makes it a better painting.
Definitely.
Usually commissions, I'll say 3 weeks. 3 weeks. It takes me a while to even get busy on it because I got to decide how I was going to do it and the placements and
Sure.
everything.
Yeah, it's a lot of prep work,
Yeah.
right? Motivation. Do you have a favorite color paint?
Well, I would say blue,
Yeah.
but blue comes in so many colors and tints
Mhm.
that
Is that your favorite color too?
yeah, I think blue. But then I like red. Red is amazing. I don't use too much red. And orange, I guess every color is my favorite color actually
Yeah.
because I like how colors look beside each other colors.
Yeah, the contrast.
Yeah, red and pink look great together.
Yep, blue and orange,
Blue and orange.
famous combo. So I've noted, I even took notes that my dad loved the complexity and the shades of blue.
Mm-hmm.
And I always think of blue when I think of your art because I've been here a handful of
Mhm.
times. What makes you gravitate towards that color specifically?
It takes water really well.
Mhm.
Um, the shading, I guess. And and we're constantly around. I like the sky.
Yep.
And blue skies and white clouds just make you feel good. I looked out the window yesterday, out of my apartment. That was like a big, huge dolphin cloud around 8 o'clock at night. I said, for God's sakes, that looks exactly like a dolphin,
Yeah.
and this big blue cloud. So yeah,
Very
blues
neat.
influence
What's your favorite subject? Paint.
the paint. I think
Yeah,
cities and people.
a lot of cafes too.
Yeah, cafes,
Hmm.
people sitting there. I'm into women with their head in these buns.
Hmm.
And I'm going into dogs more and more and more. I'm heading into dogs having fun, dogs doing skateboards, swimming. I just did a commission for dogs.
Cool.
So dogs, a lot of dogs are coming in my life, although I don't have a dog.
Do they kind of go in like a series? Would you say?
Yeah, they seem to be coming more and more. There was one dog and then two, and now there's like my sister has a dog, and she just got a new dog, so I paint her dog.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And cats once in a while, but cats are harder to paint. So
Have you ever done portraits?
Um, well, this was done at Tyrone Guthrie. That's
Oh,
not a
really?
portrait, but
Yeah,
yeah.
that was in Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very cool. Those were your co-residents?
Co-residents. Well, actually, it
Cool.
was one resident, and he was from Germany, and he said, "Let's paint together." I said, "Okay," and he was a portrait artist. I said, "I'm not very good on portraits," but he came into my studio, and I started painting one, and then I just did a whole bunch of them. So
Yeah.
it's him multiple times.
Very, very cool. What made you keep that one?
um, I guess I just like it.
Yeah.
Actually, you asked my favorite residency. This was at the table in Ireland.
Right
Which
behind you.
yeah,
Very,
but
very cool.
I
That was
take
one of your dinners.
yeah, I take them off of stretchers when I bring them home and roll them up.
Yeah.
So,
Great memories too.
yeah, good memories.
Very,
It is
very neat.
good memories, happy memories.
What made you not add color the second one?
I ran out of time and just never going back, and I sort of like it the way it is. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just for me.
So do I. No, I love it too.
Yeah, I'm not planning on selling it or anything. So
Yeah. You kind of have to fill in the
yeah,
colors in your head.
hmm
Very neat. So you felt originally when you were younger that your art wasn't good enough in high school.
hmm
So you actually majored in business.
hmm
Tell me more about that story.
So I went to Ohio. I was going to go to Ohio State and major in art. I thought about it because I always took classes at Ohio State during the summer and things. I always had classes through high school and stuff. And so I went to one application thing, and everybody hung everything up on the wall. And I thought, "Holy shit!"
Felt overwhelmed.
Yeah, I was overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So that wasn't the place for me. And Ohio State was like a factory, anyhow.
Hmm.
So so I decided I'd go to a smaller art college, and I looked around, and then my dad found this college in Midland, Michigan, and but they were mainly business, but it was a beautiful campus, and so I went there and
Hmm.
majored in business, and then took art on the side.
I believe that was Northwood, right?
Yeah, I was Northwood,
Awesome.
and so I knew the art instructor. Actually, I did a lot. I probably did more there in art than I would have done in college at OSU. I always hung the artwork in the display cases, and I sold art. So everyone knew me as an artist.
Wow. Huh. What
So,
made you pick business?
well, I think actually as an artist,
You wanted to know that side of it?
you need to know business.
Yeah.
And I've never been that great of a business person, but you need to know marketing, accounting,
Yeah.
all that
Sales.
comes in as an artist, and even sales, because when someone wants to buy a painting, you got to know how to sell it, write it up, just
Yeah. How to price it too.
yeah, price it too.
Definitely. So you definitely didn't need art school to become a professional artist. You definitely excelled by going to business school. How do you feel that the business degree helped you in the workforce before pursuing art? Because you worked at galleries as well too.
Yeah, I worked at galleries, and as your art education actually never stops.
Mhm.
So you can go to college and you can learn basics, but on your own, if you go into the art business, you're constantly bombarded by art.
Yeah.
So in the gallery, I mean, you constantly see paintings coming through every day. And then if you go to museums, techniques, and you can there's art centers every place you can take your classes. So it's a constant learning. And then friends, you learn if you have artist friends, you learn from them.
Mhm.
So and then when I arrived here in St. Pete, that's when I considered myself a picture framer, and that's when I switched my title to. I told a friend, I think I'm just going to say I'm an artist, not a framer.
Yeah.
And that's when everything really changed.
I had a bunch of questions on that. How did you become a picture framer?
Um, I left Chicago where I was working in a gallery,
Mhm.
and I only worked there for a year. I thought I could do this on my own, so I moved back to Columbus
Mhm.
and opened up a little gallery, not knowing really what I was doing. And then a friend of mine said, "You should have picture framing. You might make some money." So he said, "I'll do the framing." So we both didn't know anything about framing. So I started doing picture framing. Well, the picture framing started growing more than the art business. And I had the gallery for about 5 years, and then I went to work for a friend. Her mother married the oldest framer in town. It was the oldest frame shop in town called Magnus. So I went there, and everybody was like 80 years old, and they used to do gold leafing and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So I explored all their products and things, and became a really good framer.
Cool. Very neat.
So
Your first gallery was with your art?
yeah, my first
Okay.
gallery was with my and other people's art too. I
Sure.
used to go to Chicago and buy art since I lived in Chicago. I knew where art was.
Cool.
So I carried like Peter Max's and Leroy Neiman's.
Wow. Very, very neat. Did
Yeah.
you enjoy being a picture framer?
Yeah.
Frame maker?
Yeah, frame maker.
Yeah.
Being a picture framer was sort of like being a doctor.
Okay.
It was a good business because people came in, especially with me, they appreciated me. One good thing was I could really pick out nice frames.
Okay.
So because I was an artist,
Mm.
so I knew how to pick out frames that are timeless.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't put an orange mat on something that needed like just a white linen.
Yeah. Very, very neat.
So I did. And you meet people you through the years, you know their whole lives because they bring pictures and of their whole families and things. Yeah, so yeah, it was fun. And I was independent, so I had some people working for me so I could come and go. And
That's cool.
yeah, it was a good life. I mean, I never made tons of money, but it was at least there was a decent profession. I wasn't on the streets doing drugs.
Well, you always exude happiness.
Mhm.
You never seem, you know, sad or in a lull. You just always seem bright. And I think a lot of that has to do with art.
Yeah, I think that has to do with art, family,
Yeah.
friends.
You've really proven it's not about the money.
No, well, it is sort of about the money too. But yeah, I've never.
Just to provide the freedom to do what you want.
Yeah, money provides the freedom.
Yeah.
I think friends and family are the most important things in life.
Definitely. I agree.
Yeah, you don't need money for friends and family.
So I guess the last couple questions I had about framing, walk me through a little bit how it's done. It's always wooden. Do they use plastic now? Kind of tell me a little bit about that.
Well, frames during my period was all wood.
Okay.
Although you make plexiglass cases.
Mhm.
Like someone would bring in a violin they wanted framed, or like quilts, we put them in plexiglass cases.
Oh, so I was always thinking pictures. But
Yeah.
you were framing all sorts of stuff.
Oh, people are bringing me in
Yeah. Clothing.
clothing. You don't know what they'd bring in.
Yeah. Okay.
And so they said, "I want this frame."
And you said to figure it out.
Yeah, you just had to figure it out.
Gotcha. Cool.
So framing, I mean, it was, and that was the good thing about framing as a creative. You're always creating something to
Something new.
frame. Yeah, you didn't have to think about it. It wasn't like, you weren't doing the same thing every day.
Yeah. Something different.
Uh-huh. Got hectic. I mean, the phone would ring. Is my frame ready? And you go, no, I'm still trying to figure out how to put this violin into the case.
Yeah. And would they just be held together with nails or would you glue stuff? I don't know how it works.
Well, you can't glue. Everything has to go in. When it comes out of a frame, it should be exactly the way it went into the frame.
Mhm.
So you tie it in or use Velcro. We used a lot of Velcro.
Really? I didn't think of that.
Yeah, Velcro worked great.
Tying it, you're using like a twine or something?
You take a thread,
Okay.
and I was never good at it, but the people who worked for me could. You take a thread and you'd so I would let's say you wanted this in a frame.
Sure.
I take a thread that you wouldn't see, like a black thread, and tie it onto the board,
Huh.
and then it'd be tied, and then it's framed.
Yeah, people wouldn't even realize it.
Yeah, people don't even realize it.
Huh. Very, very cool.
That's why framing's so expensive. People don't realize how long it does take for a frame.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time. And it's not like a one cut
It's not,
method. Everything's different.
and it has to be perfect. You tie all this in, and then there's a speck on the or the thread breaks.
Yeah.
So you're back to one.
Yeah. I have to redo it. So many people feel they need a validation of a degree or some type of certificate in order to pursue something, kind of feel like they're officially XYZ. You kind of just made that leap of just saying, I'm a painter. Describe that mindset. Was there anything that led up to that decision?
I did it because I didn't think I was that good of an artist.
Hmm.
But through people buying my art and complimenting me,
You
it
had the
keeps your
reassurance.
ego. Yeah, you get reinsurance. And I just enjoy painting, is pretty much it. I think educations is really important because you learn maybe more, maybe not the process, but you it's education can't hurt on anything. Also, if you want to become a teacher or get your master's degree, it gives you more ways of opening up a profession than just painting your paintings.
Yeah.
Um, also education museums look at your education, your degrees, somewhat to see about exhibits and things.
Yeah. If you're a good fit.
Hmm. Lately, though, they've been throwing that out the window. It seems like they just, if your art's good, they're going to take you.
Talent's talent.
Yeah, yeah. Let the art speak for itself.
Definitely. I completely agree. When you mentioned education, do you think a lot of it could be independent? It doesn't have to be a formal, course and stuff. It could just be you on YouTube or talking to a friend.
Yeah, I mean, there's education that you go to college and you get your degree.
Yeah.
But you look at a lot of famous artists dropped out of college. I mean, I think David Cockney dropped out. Everyone drops out.
Yeah.
They go for 2 years. Van Gogh. Who else? So a lot of people just get Salvador Dali. He went. He says, "I know more than you guys," and he left.
I think he said that as young as the age of 6.
Yeah.
He was telling his art teachers that he was better than them. Pretty wild.
So he had a good ego.
He did. Yeah. Good intuition too.
Uh huh.
I've done a lot of research on writers. Ernest Hemingway.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have any formal education. Um, Mark Twain. He only had like a 5th grade education. And I mean, these two guys were known as some of the best American writers. They still are of all time, but even
Yeah.
at the time, they were considered the best living writer of their generation.
It comes from creativity more so.
Yeah.
And I think creativity, experiences, your life,
Hmm. Curiosity. Too.
curiosity.
That's kind of been the under.
But at a good art college, I think you can get inspiration. You learn other so everything comes in hand. With me and my frame shop gallery, I also sold art. I had a huge New York graphics catalog that had every painting ever painted. So I was always selling art. So I knew every other artist because someone comes in and looks for Monet. I said, well, that's on page, and they describe it. I said, that's on page 23. It was before the computer. I was like Google looking.
Yeah.
So it's you learn automatically.
Definitely. So your art has been showcased all over the country, from St. Pete and Tampa. It's also been in Miami, Los Angeles, and your hometown of Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
You even have a piece in the Florida State Capitol.
Mm-hmm.
How did your piece end up in the Capitol?
Through Ben Diamond, he was a representative from St. Pete, and he collects my paintings. And
That's your first piece in the Capitol?
yeah, that's the first one.
Yeah. Very cool. Very neat. Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, a beach scene
Cool.
to represent St. Pete.
Very, very neat. And then it was hit in his private collection. And he kind of.
Yeah. Actually, I just gave it to him to hang.
And then he's the one that promoted it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Being in the Capitol.
Yeah.
Very neat.
I'm not sure what's going on. It said goodbye. I mean, I just did something for St. Pete too, the pier.
Cool.
And I think that's going to be hanging in the city offices. I thought I was going to get it back, but if it's going to hang in the city offices, that's great. And I got a grant. So
very, very neat. That's of the new pier?
That's of the new pier.
Cool. So what are your goals for the future?
The goals of the future is just continue to paint.
Yeah. Keep exploring?
Yeah, keep exploring.
I think you also teach classes here too, right?
Yeah, I teach classes on occasion. I'm I actually have been doing a lot of animation,
Okay, digital?
digital films and things.
Cool. Tell me about that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, just I take my drawings and I bring them alive.
Cool.
So you look at this painting and these people actually be moving in those boats and things.
Yeah,
And then I make little stories and things because technology is becoming so great. It's easier to use with Adobe and stuff.
very neat.
So I've been busy doing that. And then it's exciting. And then I do improv and stand up. Before COVID, I was wanted to do more stand up. So I think I'm going to do more of that too.
Cool. Like open mics?
Yeah, open mics.
Very neat. Mostly in St. Pete?
No, say Sarasota. I took classes in Sarasota. Be Sarasota.
Cool. Yeah. Other side of the bay?
Yeah, other side of the bay.
Awesome. So you once thought your work wasn't very good. You've gone on to receive numerous awards and complete half a dozen residencies. Could you have imagined that your life would end up the way it has?
Mm-mm. No, that's why you never know what your life is. If you go to the bridge to jump, maybe go away from it because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, live each day at a time.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I never thought I'd end up in the Morean. I thought I'd still be living in Columbus, Ohio.
Sure. Where you grew up.
Yeah.
When you decided, okay, I'm going to go into business
Hmm.
when you from high school,
Hmm.
did you have a business in mind? Did you think it'd be art related?
No, it was always art related.
Always art
So,
related.
so basically, and it's always been art related.
Yeah.
Even, I mean, I was an artist
From the
all
get go.
along. Yeah.
That's awesome. So it's just like a slow and steady
Slow and steady.
till you got here.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What advice do you have for someone wanting to pursue a creative outlet? Whether it's painting or music, what advice do you have to those people?
I'd say don't listen to criticism, only listen to encouragement and keep doing it.
Yeah,
And you will continue on getting better and better and better and associate yourself with people that you want to be like and talk to them. And they'll encourage you and give you different ideas. And you just keep growing then.
persistence.
Yeah, persistence.
Cool. So I was curious, what advice do you have for someone that already has made the leap, but they find themselves struggling?
Take a break and then come back to the leap or try to do something else with, in your realm, which a lot of people do. Um, and that's where encouragement comes. Go out for coffee with other artists.
Gotcha. So actually take a step back.
Take a step back and ask, okay, is there something else I could be doing in the general area? Let's say I'm doing portraits. Maybe I should start doing landscapes or try something different.
Definitely. Makes sense. If you could go back and do one thing differently, what would it be?
Whenever I was asked to travel, I would definitely pack my bags and go.
So you'd be traveling earlier.
I would have been traveling early. I mean,
Much
I
sooner.
traveled, but not one time I was invited to a party in the Hamptons, and I was scared to go because I was scared to get on the train. And now, I just pack my bags. Hey, the train went the wrong way. Who cares?
Yeah, you're just in a new place.
Yeah.
Very, very neat. What is one skill you wish you had right now?
Better technology skills with Adobe.
Okay, yeah. I'm right there with you. A lot to learn.
Yeah, animation skills
Yeah.
and understanding that better.
Mhm.
And I think that is where education comes in. Maybe going to college or classes or something
Yeah.
could help some.
Cool. Very neat. If you could only name one person as a major influence in your life, who would it be? Only one.
I think her name was Edie Reiber growing up.
Okay, tell me about her. I don't know who she is.
Yeah, she's not she's not famous or anything,
Mhm.
but she was the mother of some friends of mine, and Edie collected art, and she had money and took me to all these museums. We went to all the galleries, and she'd buy stuff. So I actually was influenced by her by seeing how galleries operated, and never had fear of going into a gallery.
Wow.
So I was always I could walk into a snobby gallery. Some people cringe. I could walk in, and if they're snobby, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's actually your friend's mom?
Yeah, it was a friend's mom, Edie,
Wow. Growing up.
growing up.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Very, very neat. Did she get to see your art progress?
Yeah. And she was always encouraging art.
Cool. Very, very neat.
So She and her daughter, Nancy, we painted together in their house.
That's great.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So this is where friends, friends and family. And,
Big influence.
Mhm.
Was that when you were in elementary school or high school?
High school.
High school, yeah.
Mhm.
The deep influence.
Yeah, I took, I always took classes in high school. That was the art class, and we all knew each other. We took it from Mr. Foley, and
Cool.
and so basically all my friends were artists, and we all ran around together.
That's awesome.
So
So I did not tell you, but I write all of my notes in Field Notes. They're
Mhm.
made in the US. It's a brand I really, really love. Every guest gets their own.
oh, great.
So this one's pretty artistic. So they teamed up with Hat Show Print Company. They're out
Mhm.
of Nashville. They make handmade posters. So they're
Oh, thank
actually
you.
down to influence from real posters that they made.
Wow.
And it's really cool. It's small. It fits in your pocket.
Really?
It's different than a sketchbook because this one has lines. But I really, really like them, and I wanted to give that to you.
Well, when I go to museums and things, I take notes too.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a bunch of these things. I use them all the time.
But you can sketch and with lines
Exactly.
all the time.
Yeah, and the front and back, they've got fun facts. They come different sizes, and each guest gets one as a takeaway
Well,
from the
thank
show.
you.
Of course. Thank you for spending your time with
It's
me.
great.
So I want to thank you, Mr. Seidel, for letting me film inside of his art studio. You see all the art around both of us. We're actually inside. He let me come in early and set everything up. I really want to thank you. I also want to thank the Morean Art Center, St. Petersburg, Florida, for letting me take time out of your day and to set up. So if you're ever in St. Pete, Florida, or if you're visiting, please check it out. They offer art classes. They've got a gallery downstairs that's completely free. I really encourage you to check it out.
And you can come upstairs and visit me too. I'm open.
So
Ask at the desk.
I didn't know if that story would come up, which I know I told you before. I was in St. Pete with my parents for my dad's birthday. We're just hanging out, and they had been here before. So we walked in and we just walked around like we own the place. And we honestly just stumbled upon you working in this exact room. We didn't even know. We didn't know if we were intruding. And then you took out so much time of your day to chat with us and show us around. And his name has been in one of these notebooks for over a year, 2 years. And I always knew that I wanted to come back and have a longer conversation with you.
Well, thank you.
So I really, really appreciate it. So the final question to every episode is the mantra to the project. It's never waste a mistake. And it's my dad's greatest lesson he's ever taught me. And it's poetic because he didn't say never waste your mistake. It's anyone's mistake. So it could be a mistake that you learned yourself or from another experience or from someone else. So the final question is, what is one mistake you have not wasted?
Keep painting, even if you think your paintings are mistakes and you don't think, So put it away, put the mistake away and come back to it.
Even if you question.
Even if you question it.
Yep, definitely.
Mistakes just mean more thought. And you might make a mistake one time, but then you come back and you'll do better. It's like cooking. Cook a steak and it's terrible. And then I'm a terrible cook. Come back and cook it the next day and, cook it less. It might be better.
That's awesome. I think, did Bob Ross say there's no such thing as a mistake, only happy trees?
Yeah, there's no much such thing as a mistake. Just happy trees. Just go out and look at art, though, and you'll see a lot of mistakes.
That's awesome. Well, Mr. Seidel, I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
I hope to do this again. Thanks for taking the time to be with me.
Oh, it was fun.